Good afternoon, listeners. This is Imad Kasir on Planet FM 87.6. The show is Mind and Muse. And every Saturday from 12 to 2 p.m. we dive deep into the rituals of literature, art, mind sciences and book reviews. We are often joined by esteemed guests in our studios to discuss various topics. And today it's a special broadcast, and in the first part of the program I'll be sharing my views on a very famous book, and in the second half we'll be joined by a special guest. Listeners, you can join us on by following our Facebook page with the name Planet FM 87.6, and you can download Radio Pakistan's official app from the Play Store, and you can follow us, and you can listen to us live on www.radio.gov.pk/live-streaming. And listeners, as I mentioned that I'll be sharing my views on a very famous book, and this book is titled Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, and the author is John Gray. It's an interesting book, and as the name suggests, that it tells us about the difference in thought process of men and women. And picture this, that men are from Mars and women are from Venus. They meet, they interact, and suddenly it's like they are speaking different languages. And John Gray, the author, he argues that men and women have inherent differences in their emotional needs and their communication styles and the language they speak subconsciously. And men need trust, acceptance and appreciation, and they are all about solving problems and being the hero, while women, on the other hand, they crave care, understanding and respect, and they are all about connecting and nurturing. But here's the thing, that these differences don't have to be deal breakers. In fact, the author provides practical advice on how to bridge the gap and build stronger relationships and connections, and from understanding each other's love languages to navigate conflicts. We'll be covering all that, and so this is the intro of the program. It's a wonderful episode today, and I'm super excited to discuss about this book. Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. And this book was published for the first time in the year 1992, and since then it is considered one of the most read books. And the author, as I mentioned, John Gray. So John Gray, in the first chapter of the book, let me just share the chapters, and the chapters are very interesting. The first chapter is Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, and the second is Mr. Fix-It and the Home Improvement Committee, and men go to their caves and women talk, and how to motivate the opposite gender, and speaking different languages. Men are like rubber bands, women are like waves. So these are the names of the chapter, and listeners, you must notice that how interestingly these chapters have been titled. Discovering our different emotional needs, how to avoid arguments, and scoring points with the opposite gender, how to communicate difficult feelings, how to ask for support and get it, and keeping the magic of love alive. So these are the chapters, and I'll try to discuss the important point of this book. And the first chapter is Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, and John Gray kicks off with a fun idea. Men and women are wired differently, like they are from different planets. And he says this isn't about biology or stereotypes. It's about understanding the core differences in how we think, feel and communicate. So the core idea is that men and women have different emotional styles, needs, and the way they interact, the way they handle stress. And when we understand these differences, our connections, our relationships get way easier. And he gives an example that imagine a guy who comes home from work, he's stressed, and he wants to fix his problem or just chill alone for a bit, and his partner thinks that he's ignoring her and starts talking about her day, and he gets overwhelmed and she gets hurt. And if they understood Mars versus Venus, they'd handle it differently. So with this short example, listeners, we can understand the basic concept the author wants us to understand, is that men and women think differently, and that is why their reaction or their response on the same situation is different. And both the genders, they expect the same response from the opposite gender, whereas in fact, as far as John Gray thinks, that this isn't the case and it shouldn't be like that. So once we understand the difference in their thinking, and that is why he has titled this book that men and women, they are from different planets. And if we only think deeper about this title, we can understand that the author wants us to understand this. And in this chapter, he also tells us that men tend to be solution focused and women are connection focused. So this is a major difference he wants us to know. And then another difference he shares is that men withdraw to cope while women seek to connect. And moreover, the author says that recognizing these differences is the first step to better communication and connection and relationships. So have you ever felt like you have felt some differences with your connection when it comes to interacting with the opposite gender? So you must have felt this thing, and if you feel annoyed or hurt, I think this is the book you must read to know that why is it so. We discussed the first chapter with the same title, and in the second chapter is titled Mr. Fix-It and the Home Improvement Committee. And in this chapter, John Gray talks about a key difference, that men often go into cave mode. They withdraw to solve problems solo. They want isolation. They want some time for their own selves to concentrate on any issue, to concentrate on some problem, and they want some sort of isolation. Whereas, and that is the reason why do they withdraw, and that is he has termed this as cave mode. They go to the cave and they withdraw. Whereas the women, on the other hand, they tend to process things by talking. So when in problem, they talk even more. So this is what John Gray tells us, that when any problem comes, the men they tend to go into silent mode, whereas women do the opposite. They talk more, even more. So this is really interesting. So again, at this point, dear listeners, that this point also is important to focus on, that once we are facing any kind of problem, and we must be aware of this fact, as this book tells us, that if in a problem the men would want some isolation, whereas the women they would like to discuss or to talk or to share that problem with their close ones. So the cave thing is that men retreat to their cave to solve stuff or to get recharged, while the women might misinterpret this, that he is ignoring or he doesn't care. So this is interesting. This really is interesting because in that scenario, if for instance, just look at this example. There is a couple, and the man, he has a rough day at work, and when he comes home, he goes straight to his cave, maybe his room or a quiet spot, and he starts fixing things like a leaky tap, and his wife, she wants to talk about her day, and she feels ignored when the husband, he doesn't listen to her, or he wants some time alone. And then the woman, she would think that he is maybe ignoring her, whereas he wants some time in isolation to focus on the problems he had in his office. Whereas if that lady, if she thinks and if she rather understands this cave mode, she'd let him be and catch up him later. And if we see it the other way around, for instance, if she is facing some problem, or if she has a tough day, and she'll talk more, and he might think, the man, he might think that she is maybe not not giving him the due attention or care, or rather she's speaking about her issues. So here John Gray, he tells us this difference, that when in problem, the man will go in cave mode, whereas the women will talk more. And men tend to solve problems solo. They need space most of the times, and women need to talk more and connect. And this misunderstanding, this leads to conflicts, and the author suggests that letting men be in their isolation mode, cave mode, and the women, they must not take it personally, and women share your feelings without expecting immediate solutions. So he has provided solutions also. And in the next chapter, how to motivate the opposite gender, in this chapter he tells us about these differences he has already discussed, and then he tells us some very interesting ways to tackle, or to rather encounter maybe, or to face that opposite gender. And this is how he he has shared his views that how to motivate the opposite gender, and he tells us that men are motivated when they feel trusted, accepted, and appreciated. And think, being a hero, listeners. And women are motivated when they feel cared for, or respected and understood. And think, being cherished. So this is how he tells us that, for instance, he gives an example that if a man fixes something around the house, and the lady in the house, she thanks him, and also comments that you are a lifesaver, he feels motivated and he will do more. And the lady, if she talks about her day, and the man, he listens, he nods, and he says that that's really tough, and I get why you'd feel that way. So she feels understood and valued. So this is the difference. And then the takeaways of this chapter are that men appreciate their efforts, and they'll go the extra mile for them, and for women, show them care and understanding, and they'll shine. And it's about giving what the other needs, and it's a very basic principle that not what you need, but the other person's you need to. And this is what we discuss in the EI books also, that empathy stuff. And then moving forward, John Gray, he highlights how they communicate differently, and he has titled this chapter as that they speak different languages. And he has already considered, he has already termed them that they come from different planets. So they must also speak different languages. So when he says that they speak different languages, that simply mean that they have their different expression. When they have to express something, they express their feelings differently. And men they tend to be direct, solution focused, and women, they tend to be more connective and emotion focused. And so he has given some interesting examples also. And for men, takeaways are that listen to understand, not just to solve. And for women, the takeaways would be that share feelings without expecting fixes. And this is how their languages are different. And then moving on, he has also named a chapter that men are like rubber bands. And this is a very fun analogy. And men are like rubber bands. They stretch away and pull back, and then snap back, return. And men need to pull away sometimes to rethink, recharge, or focus, while women might misinterpret this as they are not paying attention. But men snap back when they are ready. And for instance, when in some sort of a stress, they go for maybe a walk, the men won't talk more, and women might think that they are not paying attention, whereas this is the difference the author wants us to know. So, and then he moreover when he calls men as rubber bands, in the next chapter he calls women as women are like waves. And he says that they are like ocean waves. They rise and fall emotionally. So this is very interesting, that with this kind of behavior, men might get confused by these mood swings. But don't worry, listeners, this is natural, and women can't always fix it. Just ride the waves, and they go like waves. This is what this chapter tells us. And for instance, if a lady is feeling low and the man tries to fix things, but at that moment the lady won't want to be fixed. She would only want the man to listen to her. And if the man understands this waves philosophy, he would only support her without trying to solve or resolve the issues. So takeaways are that mood swings are normal, and listen and support. Don't try to fix. And this is what he tells. And moving on, he tells that developing or discovering different emotional needs. Men, as I mentioned earlier, that they need trust, acceptance and appreciation, and while women, they need understanding and respect. So and in the next chapters, in the last chapters of the book, he tells us that scoring points, and simply that means scoring points with the opposite gender. Men and women, they score points differently. Men, small gestures score big points. For instance, only listening or opening the door, whereas women, emotional connections score big. For instance, appreciation or care, whereas focus on what matters to them, not you, if you are dealing with the opposite gender. And the most important chapter, one of the most important, is that how to ask for help or support. He says that asking for help isn't being needy. Men, they are direct, specific and appreciative, that for instance they would say, can you fix this, thanks. And whereas women, they share their feelings, they ask for what you need, I'm stressed, can we talk. So say thanks and show appreciation. So these are the things that we must keep in our minds when dealing with the opposite gender. And this is what this book tells us about. As we discussed, that John Gray, he has very intelligently authored this wonderful book, and in this book he has presented this concept that since men and women, they think differently, and the most important point we should understand is that we must know that the difference in the thought process, and that is the guide, that is something we must know. Once we consider this difference as natural, and we will then stop expecting them for a certain or a particular kind of a response or reaction or feedback, once we are able to understand and acknowledge these differences. So once we know these differences, we would be in a better position to interact with them. We'll be in a better position, may it be our workplace, or may it be our homes, or may it be our business partnership, or may it be any other area where we have to interact with the opposite gender. We must know these differences, and while we know these differences, we can simply we can perform, and we can have better understanding of the stuff that is going on in someone else's mind, especially and particularly if he comes from another planet. As John Gray tells us that men are from Mars and women are from Venus. So this is absolutely natural that there will be differences. there will be there must be different types, different ways, the way they think, the way they approach, the way they share, the way they talk, the way they have their views of on any particular area. So listeners, this was about this wonderful book by John Gray, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. So listeners, this was all about this book,